Hey sports fans, we're back and today we're going to talk about a tight end that's built like a top flight wide receiver and expected to be the next great thing at his position. And that dude's name is Kyle Pitt. Never has a tight end been selected so high, and with his lofty draft capital comes lofty expectations. The Atlanta Falcons believed in those expectations enough to select the University of Florida State. Today we're going to look at the insane workout and diet regimen of this unworldly prospect and see what makes him so special. But before we get into that, do me a favor and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on this channel and more videos like this. All done? Alright, let's go. Following the 2019 season, Kyle Pitts was already a phenomenal player and arguably the best pass catcher on a Florida team that featured the likes of wideout Van Jefferson and Kadarius Toney. Being the best pass catcher on his Florida squad and the best tight end in the SEC wasn't enough for Pitts though. He wanted to be the best in the nation regardless of team or position. So following the 2019 offseason, Pitts went to work on the areas that he felt needed most improvement: his route running and his physique. Already quite the specimen going into that offseason, Pitts the perfectionist still saw room for improvement, and improve he certainly did. In order to refine his routes and pickup, Pitts went down to Atlanta to put in the work in hopes of coming out of the offseason someone the coaches felt they could use on every down. At 232 pounds at the time, Pitts was considered on the smaller side for a tight end, but by adding bulk, he would make himself someone that coaches could trust on blocking downs and to keep his quarterback upright when called upon. Pitts linked up to Reza Hazam of Athletic Development and Performance Therapy and was able to add 8 pounds of muscle in just 4 weeks. One of Pitts' first exercises that he used to improve his strength was the good old bench press. The bench press is a similar movement to blocking and would-be defenders, an area that Hassam wanted to key in on, so this was his go-to workout. Pitts began the program with being able to lift a maximum of 115 pounds, and by the time his trainer was done with him, he was able to lift 315 pounds 6 times. Next was the deadlift, which showcased his increase of overall strength. Pitts was able to hit 545 pounds 3 times and get his squat game up to 495 pounds and do that 3 times as well. Keep in mind, we're talking about a tight end here. Pitts' trainer noted that not all athletes are able to show these kinds of tremendous results in just 4 weeks, but it's all just a testament to the player Pitts is and how committed he is to his craft. In other words, the dude is a monster and trains like a beast, a deadly combination for someone so dynamic. Hassam also said he had Pitts working like a maniac, upping the amount of weight he had him work on daily, and kept pushing Kyle to see how strong he could get if he kept applying himself and used correct technique. Pitts passed the test with flying colors, and 8 pounds later, he was lifting like a man possessed not only to be great, but legendary. Pitts, who went in looking like a basketball player with his leaner frame, came out looking more like a wide receiver that was too big to get bullied by any defensive backs and an athlete strong enough to do anything a bulkier tight end would be asked to do. The key to all of this was making sure that Pitts didn't sacrifice any of his speed in the process. Hassam said that Pitts actually gained explosiveness through his squats and improved his leg strength immensely, and that he came out much faster with his added weight. Hassam also made sure that Kyle Pitts maintained his flexibility, as he didn't want to just build him into a bulkier player. He wanted to make sure the ability to move like a basketball player and run like a wide receiver remained intact and not just in the speed department. Pitts' lateral agility also improved. See, we told you this guy was special. While we're on running like a wide receiver, next up for Pitts were his routes. Keep in mind, going into training in Atlanta, Pitts was by all accounts an exceptional route runner. So good, in fact, that when he lined up against defensive backs, he was able to get the upper hand more often than not, and when lined up against linebackers or safeties, was nearly unguardable. This notion was seconded by the receivers coach at Top Shelf Performance Atlanta, Stefan Brown. Brown also felt that Pitts' drive to get better as a blocker is something rare for tight ends and with his receiving ability. Brown claims that while Pitts was a very refined route runner, there were a few areas that did need some fine-tuning. The main areas of focus were working on what he did at the top of his route, adding little tricks to get off press coverage, and how to get better at reading coverages. Brown also wanted Pitts to control his speed in his routes so that his routes all came out a little smoother. Brown, who also works with wideouts like Mecole Hardman of the Kansas City Chiefs and Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons, now Pitts' teammate, says Pitts takes his success with any signs of conceit and spoke of how humble the dude was as a pupil and how great of a listener Kyle was. Half of the battle is being able to process information and take direction, and it sounds like Kyle Pitts is as coachable as they come. With that being said, the humble Pitts doesn't mind letting defenders know when they've been beaten, as he's done to the many defenders he's left in his wake. The results of all of Pitts' hard work were in full display during the 2020 season, which saw the freakish tight end take a light-year leap forward in production, upping his yardage and touchdown total in 5 less games during a COVID-shortened season. Pitts not only became the most dominant tight end in the nation, but one of the best overall players, as he had hoped. routinely beating defensive backs, some of which were first-round talent, and making linebackers and safeties just look silly when they tried to cover him, Pitts had arrived, and the media and the NFL personnel began speculating if he was the best prospect ever, a question question he would answer during his 2021 Pro Day. To put into words how phenomenal some of Kyle Pitts' Pro Day stats were, we need to include other legends of the gridiron to put everything into perspective. Kyle Pitts' 10-yard split, which highlights his burst and just how twitchy of an athlete he is, came in at an eye-popping 1.5 seconds, which is faster than Adrian Peterson and Calvin Johnson. This is a tight end we're talking about, ladies and gents. His 20-yard split was even more impressive, which came in at a redunculous 2.58 seconds. Even though Pitts is a long strider, it was hard to tell just how fast he was moving by looking at his game tape. When coaches and scouts were finally able to put a stopwatch to what they had been drooling over all season, Pitts' generational talent potential was confirmed. It looks like all of the hard work that Pitts was putting back in Atlanta paid off in dividends. As we noted, the workout was enough to vault Pitts over the likes of LSU 2019 Biletnikoff winner Jamar Chase and 2020 Heisman winner Alabama wideout Devontae Smith. To say Pitts has pressure on his shoulders during his rookie season may be an understatement, but then again, his ability to create mismatches and be quality defenders may be underestimated by those who think that Atlanta Falcons reached with the number 4 overall pick. Pitts sure isn't underestimating himself, claiming he feels that he will be the best ever to do it. We touched on Pitts putting on some pounds earlier, but we didn't really say how he managed to gain 8 pounds of muscle in a 4-week time span, but one of the secrets to Kyle's success was the nutritional advice his trainer had given him, mainly eat cleanly. Pitts loaded up on lean protein, which primarily consisted of chicken breasts prepared in different ways and heapings of vegetables and proteins. While Hassan wanted Pitts to put on weight, he didn't want him to put it on the wrong way. Pitts would eat up to 5 times a day with 3 to 4 full meals and snack to help him fuel his workouts and muscle gain, and as Hassan admitted, Pitts didn't know a first thing about a diet when the two first linked up, but adapted it easily just like everything else he does. Now, Pitts maintains a healthy diet, and even though he has a cheat meal every now and again, the 20-year-old has the discipline of a 20-year-old veteran and has all the makings of an athlete that could very well be Hall of Fame bound if all the cards fall into place. Alright, sports fans, that does it for our time on Kyle Pitts and the insane workout routine and diet. Let us know what you think about Kyle Pitts' regimen and whether or not you think he's the next great tight end by dropping us a comment. As always, if you're not already a subscriber, do me a favor and click that subscribe button to stay up to date on this channel and more videos like this. Until next time, sports fans.